Right now, we're going to go to Kentucky, as promised earlier, and then I completely ignored it because I'm terrible. I don't keep my promises. Okay, in Kentucky. In Kentucky, a school called the Butler Traditional High School in Louisville released their new dress code, and a lot of parents are not happy about it. Why? Because it calls out certain hairstyles that might be more discriminatory toward African Americans than people of other races. When people got this dress code, it said things like, "We feel that a student's academic success is directly correlated to appropriate attire and appearance." And we have a tweet of a screen cap of the actual thing that one mother pointed out. It says, "We don't like," and you can see it, "no dreadlocks, no corn rolls, no twists, mohawks, and no jewelry will be worn in the hair." It also points out natural hair color is only allowed. No two-toned hair or severe contrasts. The ACLU, one mother tweeted out,
look at the one below that. If we could go back to that for a quick sec, that like women, I guess, can dye their hair. No male may dye to highlight
and Mel's hair,
his hair in any way.
Mel's hair length must be kept at a reasonable length.
Yeah, so. And no mohawks for either even
jewelry and hair.
Sean King at the New York Post was writing about this, and he was saying that Mayor De Blasio's son's afro would not pass code here.
Really?
It's too long.
Yeah, it needs to be, I think, 2 inches or shorter.
Dreadlocks are the most natural hairstyle you could have, because all you do is nothing.
Yeah, and that's the hair you walked away from.
Yeah. Some people, one mother objected. She said, "I don't understand why we're going to focus on something like natural hairstyles when we should be focused on education. They specifically outline hairstyles that are worn most by black kids. To me, this stinks of institutional racism." The ACLU, just to give you more social media background, the ACLU of Kentucky's tweeted out, conceding, "Understandably, schools have adopted dress codes in part to keep the learning environment free from distraction," but then points out, I think this is very powerful, "Singling out culturally specific hairstyles may send a signal to students of color that their very being is a distraction in the classroom."
Boom.
Boom, just leave.
Right. I mean, I'd say I'd have to agree. If it has to do with safety or, actually facilitating learning, then sure, you may have some rules. But a 2-inch afro isn't going to block the chalkboard from students behind, the person with the afro. It's simply not going to interfere with learning. And the other thing that I want to point out is that this is a public high school. This isn't a private institution where you can have, rules that follow your ideology or mission statement. This is a public high school, and to me, this infringes on our freedom of speech and our rights as students. Yes, I understand they're under 18 years old, most of the students there. This is a high school, but students should be allowed to control their own bodies. They're essentially stripping away control from their very being. In essence, it's not about a t-shirt, it's about hair. And the other thing that I think the rules miss is that some African Americans report that keeping hair in braids or in twists is the best way to protect their hair because it's prone to breakage, and that completely ignores this fact.
Yeah, nobody checked with anybody.
No.
No.
Yeah.
or if anything, it smacks of the voter rights thing earlier. It's like, how could we most screw over black people without using the word black? I know. It's bananas.
I think cornrows are oddly offensive when white people have them.
Well, that's the other issue too, right? Cultural appropriation is
natural hair color. There's going to be a lot of blonde people in those schools, blonde who have dyed their hair blonde.
Yeah,
that's not natural. If you're making that rule, you need to go to every person who gets highlights put in their hair or dyes it blonde and say, "Sorry, you have to be brunette." But unfortunately, there's also a rule that says there can be no two-tone contrast. So those girls are going to have to shave their heads.
Yeah, a lot of this smacks of isn't it just recently that the Army finally decided that Sikhs could wear turbans or
buns and turbans?
Oh yeah. They didn't have to shave their heads. And there's a lot of places where we make exceptions and understanding for cultural hair choices. And I think certainly this smacks of just going after a very targeted community.
Like the Voting Rights Act. This is not a problem, I guarantee it. There's not first of all, I'm in favor.
This is in response to nothing.
It's in response to nothing. It's in response to you being scared of a couple of kids with dreadlocks. That's what it's being in response to. The I get and support a school district's decision for dress codes. Plenty of people we've had on this show and plenty of liberals who don't agree with that. I got no problem with mandating a dress code. But you can't mandate a dress code and prevent people from wearing their hair in a certain way. You could probably do a couple of things. You could probably, there might be a hairstyle you could get away with, but you've clearly singled out African American hair.
Yeah, if you want to eliminate distractions from the classroom, you're dealing with high school kids. Like, everything's a distraction.
Right.
There was that one teacher who's like, I gotta have my student wear a bra because it's distracting to me.
Yeah.
You just said, I'm too attracted to this 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl. If you want to eliminate those distractions in the way that you say, you have to pass a law that says no boobs allowed in class.
It's Kentucky. They're not going to college anyway.
Well, just to give you
My family's
that's
from
not
Kentucky.
fair.
Stop
That's
it.
not
My
fair.
bootlegger
My first
great-grandfather.
boyfriend was from Owensboro. I met him at Vanderbilt.
Guys, let me give you an update on the story, though. So they met on Friday, June 29th, and decided to suspend the portion of the dress code. July 29th. Thank you very much.
Out.
So
I'm
today.
still on vacation mode. Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Depending on when this airs, it was June 29th, and they decided to dismiss the portion of the dress code policy that included anything about hair. So as of now, it's non-enforceable. And I think that says a lot about the power of speaking out, especially through social media and reaching people, because I don't think that would have happened had the mother not tweeted out and other people engage in the conversation.
And she was not just a mother; she was a state representative, or at least about to take office state representative. And I made the Kentucky joke for a very specific.
Yeah, why did you do that?
Yeah, let's go.
That's
What
my
do you got?
old Kentucky home.
because Kentucky gets included in insults when it had nothing to do with the fight. That's what I like about it. So my ex-wife was from Omaha, and right across the river from Omaha is Council Bluffs, Iowa. And the highfalutin people of Omaha would look down on the low-rent people from Council Bluffs, Iowa, and referred to it as Council-tucky. And I was always like, what did Kentucky do to get itself involved in your little Montagues and Capulets fight between Omaha and Council Bluffs? Like, Kentucky is the butt of jokes no matter what. And I mean, I just encouraged it, but nonetheless, it's Council-tucky. And tucky is a good thing to put on the end of something to make people think less of it.